something from someone who has nothing to steal. That's real.
Hello everybody, it's Neda here and welcome back to 2v2t, my favorite server in Minecraft. Now, today I'm going to be touring a place called the Old Town with Offtopia, where Offtopia used to live, and he's just going to tell a little history about the place. Now, before I start, I wanted to say a little something about this series. This series is about Offtopia touring old places with me and telling me about their history, telling me and you guys about their history. We're going to be touring a lot more places, so be sure to keep up with the series, because I think that this is very, very interesting. So, I guess let's just get into the video.
And now we are at one of the oldest towns of 2v2t. It's the town called Old Town or Church Town. It was founded back in April 2011 by the Judge Holden. I think he played with my Offtopia account first when he started to play on 2v2t, and yeah, he's given me the sign that it's correct, and he later got the Judge Holden account from me. But during this time, he mostly built all the buildings in Old Town you can see around, and he was pretty much the founder of one of the long-lasting towns on 2v2t, because Old Town lasted from, I think, April 2011 till November 2011, when it got briefed by Pop-Up, when he had the backdoor to the server. And buildings like the sheriff's office, for example, were like one of the first buildings ever. And what makes this town so unique is that it lasted so long. It had a lot of people invited who continued playing on the server, and who founded a lot of other towns that followed Old Town. And most of us kept playing till 2013.
How many people lived here?
I have a list written down of all the people. The Judge Holden was the first guy who joined when I came with my Offtopia account. 1 month later, I wanted to invite someone, and I found 2 people called Electrov and GDW99666, who were walking around spawn and who didn't really have a clue how to play 2v2t. And I thought those were the perfect guys to invite to this base, and they were pretty much the first people who joined us. And Electrov then invited people he know from real life. He invited Marksman77 and Willy Roof, who is here today with us.
Yes.
Who also joined. And for a while we kept about 6 people here, and I didn't really build much in this town. I built this sand tower block, the sand block tower here, which was for a long while, this was my only building here. Well, most of the buildings were made by Judge, like this one here, which was the first Institute of Agriculture that we ever had. And this was mainly my job here, because back in the days, food wasn't stacking. So we only had single food in our inventories. And my time was most of all to farm melons, to farm wheat, to make bread. So we had food all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And over here you can Electrov's house. You can see Electrov's house with the brickstone and the oak blocks. Next to it you can see JDW's house with the glass roof. And when we got the first update, we got the library with the enchantment table here, which is pretty much messed up now. And we got the brewing stand, which was set up in the Institute of Agriculture. And about 1 month later, when we were pretty much full of buildings within the walls, we invited more people. We invited Baba Kennedy, who was a friend of JDW. Square Digger joined us, who was, I think, the last person, the last player who really played here in Old Town after it got griefed. And most of his building is also messed up. And over here you can see my skull building, which I built later as a home. It was built out of ugly Neverek because I like to use Neverek to set up fires, because we always had a huge mob problem with hostile mobs. So we had to first set up this wall with all the burning Neverek to keep out the spiders, to keep out the zombies and the creepers. Back in the days, 2B2D had a very high spawn rate for hostile mobs, and they were causing a huge problem with blowing up buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Enderman back in 2011 took out a lot of building blocks and tree blocks. They were stealing all blocks possible. And this one was Willy Roof's first house back in 2011. Some people came here and tried to repair it as best as we can. And we changed a lot of the original blocks and original setups. And as you can see over here where we started, about 100 people left, about 100 people came and visited and left Old Town in the last 5 years since we abandoned it. Yeah, and how did all this shit go down was in November 2011, when Pop had a backdoor to the server, so he could OP himself. He was able to teleport to about 20 different bases in one night, and he destroyed about 20 bases during that night, and he was mainly invincible.
That's horrible.
He had speed hacks. He could spawn infinite TNT, and he blew up the whole town like this. And down here we can see the sewers of Old Town. I don't think many towns on 2B2D have sewers. And we had about 3 different skeleton grinders down here. And we had some farms down here and some snowmen and a lot of animals that are not here around anymore because they probably all got killed. I think it was Willy Roof who took out his dog and brought it to 1 million, I think. Am I correct?
Yep, the Minecraft dog that lasted for, I think about... Actually, I believe he's still alive out at New M, so...
Yeah.
Somewhere out there's a Minecraft dog older than most of the players on this server.
Yeah.
That's
the oldest
amazing.
dog on the server is about 5 years old.
Jesus.
Oh my
And-
goodness.
And now, because we don't see much of how Old Town looked like in the past, we're gonna switch to a private server, and we can look at the repaired Old Town. But first off, since we talked about Pop-Up, I have to say that after he grieved this town, people informed Housemaster, and Housemaster removed his backdoor. And then later, someone came online who used the art that Pop-Up was using, called SA1212. And I have to show this picture here. Acid 1212 said, "I'm not Pop-Up. I know Pop-Up foe. Pop-Up borrowed my account without me knowing. And his name is Alan, and he is a faggot in real life. And he is fat as shit in real life," and stuff like that. I don't know, can we add this about Pop-Up? Because this is Pop-Up's building that he left here at Old Town. It's nothing special. Yeah, just leave it out. It's nothing special. But over here at in the sea, you can see my logout spot where Pop-Up left some lava cast to kill me. But he didn't kill me, and was able to get some stuff from Old Town, from the chests, and then move out. So this was in November 2011. This was the place where Pop-Up tried to kill me.
Lava trapping was a thing back then too.
And now we are in the repaired Old Town. A lot of buildings didn't need really repair, but we set up how it looked like in the past, and we didn't really have much fancy blocks back then. Mostly copper, glass, and oak blocks. I think spruce came also later, was only later updated. So we had birches and oak blocks mostly. And here we can see the undestroyed Institute of Agriculture. And this was pretty much my home place and my working place for 6 months during this, during the Old Town times. And we had several farms here, mostly melon farms. And we picked up the melons mostly from dungeons and I think from abandoned mine shafts. And we visited some other places that were far away and raided them, of course. Yeah, mine shafts existed later, I know. But we somehow got melon seeds out of, I think, spawn farms and dungeons. And it was our main food resource for a while. And we brought cows back to this place later. And this is the undamaged library. Back then in 2011, you could make books out of free paper pieces. You didn't need any leather. So it was easy to make a lot of bookshelves. And this was our enchanting place. And on top we had a small forest farm for birch wood. And over there you can see the repaired Electrove mansion, which was pretty impressive because he used a lot of different blocks that we didn't use, like stone bricks and stuff like that.
Why didn't you use them?
I believe stone brick was introduced in 1.8, along with a lot of other things like melons and mine shafts and stackable food.
Yeah, it came later. It wasn't really at the start, so most people used cobblestone. Because when we had a lightning or other fire incident, a wood house would burn down very fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like today where wood doesn't burn that much, or when a lightning struck that it wouldn't burn down the whole building.
There's a mushroom house. When did mushrooms become a thing in Minecraft?
I think they were introduced later in July or September. And it was possible to grow mushrooms everywhere. You didn't need the mycelium.
Mm-hmm.
You just took out the mushrooms from mine shafts. And this was pretty much the first mushroom house I built. I just made a hole in the ground, put down a mushroom and then some bone blocks. And then the mushroom grew out and I just had to make a building out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a second building with a bed here. And the next one is JDW's house. He's known on the server because he killed the first Ender Dragon that showed up in the end, and for a while there wasn't any other Ender Dragon because Hauser didn't really bother about reloading the end. So I think for 2 years, JDW was the only guy on the server who killed an Ender Dragon and who had an Ender Egg for a while.
He did it alone?
I think he was with XCC at -400 at the spawn base, where the only end portal was for a while. And back later, House bothered about putting more end portals into the server. And this was one of the things that JDW made. He hid about 5 cakes in the base, and whoever found the 5 cakes first got a prize from JDW. And as you can see, he's not a great builder, but he was a great basement. And he came back this year as Coach Mike, and he joined us at the drain. And I hope he stays for a while before he turns inactive like most of us. And over here you can see my undamaged skull house. Pretty ugly still, even if it's not undamaged. And this was the last place where I placed my bed, and where I had a private house for a while. And because Neverwreck is really sensitive to explosions, a lot of times creepers blew up this place and had to repair it over and over again. So next we're gonna visit Old City, and this place was founded by the judge when he came back from Imtown, because for Judge Imtown was pretty boring because it was really far away from spawn, and we only had a few builders there, and yeah, it was a bit boring for people who didn't really want to build something monstrous, something giant. And so he came back to Old Town, and then he went back here and founded Old City, which was part of a plan to make a giant town that would reach from 10k to the spawn. And Judge didn't really mind if things got destroyed or griefed or something like that. He just wanted to keep building small buildings, and he wanted to keep building from this place here till he would reach spawn, and it would be a long line of buildings and a long line of roads and walls, I think, that he had planned out. And this place was in 2014. It was a lot of small buildings, and he invited, I think, a lot of people back then, like Snacky North, like Sato. I don't know the complete list, I'm sorry, but you can put it on chat if you want, Judge. And as you can see, yeah, Rickerman, Xavier, Jack the Ripper, Sato, Aaron, who was a spawn trailer most of the times, Etrica, who joined, I think, in 2014, and maybe XOXP, I don't know. As you can see, building style improved a lot than back in Old City. We had Church had more blocks, made more combinations of blocks, and let's walk over in this huge watchtower to see the whole town. I think there's a staircase here. Yeah.
I really like this building. It has like a Chinese style to it.
Yeah, Asian style building. As you can see, this town was a lot bigger than Old Town. And I think Church built it in only 4 months, so I don't know. How long did it take? 3 or 4 months. Mostly alone. Because it was so close to spawn, it saw a lot more action than Imp Town, which was so far away that it was pretty much single player during this time. And a lot of people came, joined. It got griefed a bit, and then it got repaired a bit. Some new buildings were added. I don't think I really have all buildings on this world download here, but I tried to get a good world download about it. About 1 or 2 buildings are missing. I tried to get a quick and good world download of it before it got griefed again, because it was so close to spawn as at Old Town. And I think most of the buildings were made by a church, like this pagoda here. And the small ones over here, I think, with the sign, what it is saying.
It looks so different. Like there's still not a lot of building blocks here, but it looks so different to the other place that we just saw.
Compared to Old Town, yeah. Because we were so focused on cobblestone and stuff like fences and fence blocks and slabs and stuff like that. They all came later. They all were later introduced to the game. And I think, yeah, there's an apartment complex over here. Is it built by you, Church? Because it says Snacky and Saito were here. I think Saito visited this place, but didn't really build anything here on her art. And we see a lot of apartments, I think, were planned for housing villages, converted villages. Yeah, and over here you can see how much it spread out. Pretty much grew into this direction. I think this is a building that looks like it was made by Saito. Was it made by you? Yeah, this looks pretty cool too. Even though it's mostly out of cobblestone, it's a great combination of fence blocks and brickstones. I don't think this was the Church of Shrek, was it? It was totally made out of random. It looks impressive. It looks like a big lighthouse. Yeah, over here we can see the most prominent building of the town, the church of Shrek, mycelium blocks and stuff like that.
It's made out of dirt, but it looks good. How's this possible?
I think he made some indirect lighting here with the slabs on the ceiling. Everything Shrek is good. Yeah, and mostly, I think, apartment blocks for players and for villagers that were built here. And let's look over here on the hill, a floating building. Yeah, that was the first building of Old City. It's also nice here. And I think Old City was griefed by some Australian guy in 2014 or something. But Judge already joined Escort 2, I think, during that time. Was it correct? Well, he got invited into a lot of towns because he he made a comic book, and so he was some kind of celebrity on 2B2T, and everyone wanted to have him in his base and make a comic of his space, and so he got invited into a lot of bases by Sado and by XXP and XSC2, and so he saw a lot of more bases than I did. I think while I was pretty much busy at Imptown most of the time, but we will see the undamaged Imptown later when we visited too. And let's make a last free game out of Old City. Pretty impressive from up here. Is there something else that you want to show us, Judge? Some last building that is important? Yeah, I think we're good. And this is Old City on the server, how it looks on 2B2T today. It doesn't really look griefed. It's just mainly abandoned.
Yeah, it looks very similar. It doesn't look at all griefed.
I think most of the griefing was done to the wood blocks. They were burnt down,
Yeah.
but no one really placed a wither here or placed some TNT. And let's check out if you see the missing buildings here. Over here, yeah, this one with the arch. I think I'm gonna add this later to the world download, so I have it completely. And I think this was one of the gates of Old City. Looks also very impressive.
Yeah. Looks amazing.
And then we have, I think the last building that we didn't see yet is this building in the south on the top of this hill. I think this was the private mansion. How did he get up here?
No, this building
There's a stairway right here.
Ah, yeah, there's a stairs. There are stairs here. I think this was something.
This building was
that-
on the private server.
Yeah. It's also only a little bit griefed. Some blocks were moved out.
It's more griefed than the other buildings.
Yeah. Some of the rooftop was missing here. I think someone placed a TNT block or something, but it's not really as griefed as Old Town was. And it's a very nice overview over Old City. Yeah, and that's it. Next, we're gonna visit Rainbow Islands, Ravendel, and Farmtown, which were the followers of Old Town in 2011 and 2012.